I loved the Fields breakdown yesterday. As a Fields apologist,
talk to me. What am I missing, man? Because you see what I'm seeing. I'm like, dude, what's up?
Man, that was tough to watch. There's no excuses I could make. I'm saying Fields, throw the ball. The guy's open.
I'm watching that and being like, dude, Zach Wilson is better than Justin Fields. Zach Wilson wouldn't miss all these guys. Even in his worst game against Coastal Carolina, he really competed. I thought he was pretty good against Coastal Carolina. Justin Fields is like, man, you got all this time, all this space, all these open receivers, and you're like sitting there like, I don't know, man.
It was not a good look. Because I watched this season back starting from game 1. Nebraska, he shredded. Penn State was interesting. Watch the Penn State. He made some throws with guys in his face.
Okay.
And I was thinking, okay, love it. Rutgers was the third game, shredded.
Okay.
Then the Indiana game. And that's where he got, we saw it on the film. He was missing reads.
It was a very bad
Dudes are running open.
Yeah.
He couldn't beat the blitz. And that was concerning.
Yes. But it's like, it's okay. It's a one-off. That's fine. Have you watched the Northwestern game?
You know what? I was up till 1 a.m. watching Justin Fields last night, and that was the last game I watched.
Let me tell you, at 7 in the morning, I was watching it on my phone with my wife next to me. I was like, I just got to watch a little Justin Fields.
Yeah, I was on the couch with my iPad watching Northwestern last night, and a couple of the interceptions, the one on the sideline, him and the receiver just weren't on the same page, right? The receiver cut up field, and
no, but that throw was late. That was sprint right option. Throw the freaking ball, dude.
That's true. And then there was another pick. The DB made a one-handed Odell Beckham grab.
Yeah, that was just a 50-50 ball.
That one I'm not. So
the other one was late though. That's sprint right option, and he's waiting. It's like, come on, man. He's late.
What I will say is, when he does see it and when he does cut it loose, he's very accurate.
Oh yeah,
and he has a. I'm thinking if Shanahan can give him these defined reads where it's just 1-2, you're not asking him to read a 4-read progression, right? You give him 1-2, and the third option is always his legs.
Yes, that's true.
So I think, and
it could work.
In the Niners offense,
it could work. But what I'm saying is, and I hear a lot of people saying this too, like, yes, if it can work for Jimmy, it can work for Fields. But what I see with Fields is, dude, if you can't beat the blitz with your arm, you're going to get nothing but blitzes. And there's nothing Kyle can do, man. You're going to have to find the outlet, know where it is, execute. Maybe Ohio State isn't doing a good job of helping him with that. Maybe Kyle can do a better job. But I just can't help but notice that that Kyle's quarterbacks get hit a whole lot. So it's kind of on you, man. You got to know what to do. And I don't see it yet. And that's just a function of inexperience or something worse.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, who do
you like better, Fields or Wilson? Who do you like better, Fields or Wilson?
Wilson. Okay. Wilson. I like them both, though. And I would love if the Niners could get up. And you know what's funny? In my first Cohn phone, I sent you the clip. I was telling you the Niners need to trade up to 7 to get ahead of the Panthers. Yeah. And then what is Mel Kiper? I started working on a YouTube video Wednesday night, getting my overlays ready about how the Niners should trade up to 7. And then Mel Kiper ruins my video by Thursday, releasing his mock saying the Niners are doing that exact same thing.
Yes. He's just stealing from you blatantly. And he gets all this money. Can you please give Bay Area Baller 18 some credit, Mel? Come on.
Yeah. Hey, but if
I wasn't too harsh on Justin Fields is what you're telling me.
No, you weren't. The evidence was right in front of our face. He was missing reads and missing throws, and I hated to see it.
Right. And I'm not trying to use it against him and be like, well, this is why he's going to be a bust. I'm just saying this is why he's going to be a project. And it depends where he goes, what kind of development he gets, I think.
And Josh Allen took a couple years to develop. So that's what I'm thinking is if we pass on him, are we passing on a potential Josh Allen type of quarterback?
Be honest. When you watch Justin Fields, do you see that type of tools and upside? I don't. With Josh Allen, I felt like, first of all, that's the strongest arm I've ever seen. I didn't see John Elway in the 80s. That's the strongest arm I've ever freaking seen. Plus, he's 6'5", and can run a 4.6.
He's got a cannon. That
guy's the upper 1% of athletes in the NFL. Justin Fields is very athletic, but I don't think he's on that level. I think he's on
in the grand scheme of things.
With the more...
In the grand scheme of things, if we passed on him, could we be passing on a potential all-pro quarterback that what he could develop into a few years down the line?
You could be. You could also with Trey Lance, but that's a scary reason to pick a quarterback because you're afraid that if you pass on him, he might turn out great. You need to take him because you believe you can be great on your team. If you're just taking him because you're scared, then dude, just give the job to someone else who's got more conviction. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
The last thing I'm going to say is we got to get one positive game from Fields because when the breakdown came out, when I got that alert 30 minutes till Grant Cohn's breaking down Fields, I'm like, all right, this is going to be either the Indiana game or the Northwestern game. I already knew it. So you got to break down either the Penn State or the Clemson, something where he's shredding, because the guy is a baller. He can make some
definitely
spectacular plays.
I feel like he has every tool is plus. You know, to use baseball terminology, every tool he has is plus. I don't know if there's any plus tool. I don't know if he's got any plus tools, but everything's plus. All I'm seeing is a guy who's unrefined, and that's probably Ohio State's fault. They don't prepare quarterbacks for the NFL. They just don't. And you can absolve him of blame, but you just got to know that he's not super prepared. And whichever team gets him has to have a real good plan for him. And that's why I said, like, I think Josh Allen's a good comparison. He may not have that type of upside, but Allen was a great fit for Buffalo because he went into a team that had a first-year head coach. And they're like, you know what? We suck. You suck. We're going to suck together. And in 3 years, we will grow into a great team. You bring in Justin Fields to the Niners, that is not the expectation. Like, this is year 5. You're supposed to be good. So if he could go to a team like the Jets and they're like, all right, man, you know, sure, you're green, but that's fine. You're going to learn on the job and you're going to be great in a few years. He may or may not. But on the Niners,
so 25% of our throws are Jimmy gimmies anyway, though. I mean, he can hit the bubble, the jet sweeps and the swing and the screens. That's 25% of the offense right there.
Yeah. But all I'm saying is, dude, if you think Jimmy Garoppolo struggles to execute this, I don't think Justin Fields can do it better. He's a better athlete, but in terms of execution, he'll make Jimmy Garoppolo look like freaking Tom Brady in terms of execution. And maybe that's not the best reason to draft a quarterback because he doesn't execute well right now. But I'm not sure that he'll improve.
I forgot to compliment a couple of the callers that talked about Fields already, Ben and the 49ers fan kid. Both those calls, exceptional. All your callers are great. Last nugget I want to give you, before I get out of here. My buddy used to travel with the Niners. I'm not going to disclose what nature of the team he was with, but he used to travel with the Niners, right? I'm talking the Harbaugh, the Chip Kelly, and the Tom Sula. He left, anyway.
Okay.
And when I talked to him about those coaches, I said, hey, Tom Sula, Chip Kelly, what was going on? He says, let me tell you, at least Tom Sula used to watch film on the flights. Tom Sula would be, watching the game back on the flight. He said Chip Kelly is watching Spider-Man eating Mike and Ike's.
Oh no.
That's what he told me. And
that is why I always felt that Chip Kelly was the worst coach I've ever covered, more than Tom Sula. I always felt that Tom Sula was a fool who cared and was over his head. I really felt like Chip Kelly could care less. He had the most lifeless locker room, the most lifeless practices, and the fact that you tell me that is the truth. And I criticized him endlessly. I wrote one time that his practice was silent, and he came up to me during practice and said, so what are you comparing this to? I was like, listen, Chip, listen. What are you comparing this to? That was the one thing that bothered him when I said your practices are dead. Because they were. They freaking were. You're dead, man. And now it's his fault. What are you comparing this to? Were you at Bill Walsh's practices? No. He said, were you at Bill Walsh's practices? No. I was at Jim Harbaugh's practices. This is dead. Listen, Chip. Sorry, dude. Get the hell out of town. Hey, Barry Baller, love you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Good stuff. Catch you next time.